right, ladies and gentlemen, again, welcome to another episode of this podcast. So I was thinking about what I should talk about today, and I say, right now I only have boys. What if I had girls? What type of education or what type of advice would give him to my girl once, of course, God bless me with those girls. So I started thinking and I started digging, and then I came across this post on Facebook, and I was like, shoot, why don't I just read this on my podcast, right? So today is what type of advice will you be giving to your daughter, right? And I think this one, I'm going to post it as soon as I'm done recording it, just because I think it's very fascinating and it's very interesting, right? So, without having to waste your time, because I know you got better things to do. Please, if you like the podcast, go ahead and like, share, subscribe, do whatever you got to do, comment, and it will obviously be greatly appreciated. Now, let's go ahead and get back into it. Tell your daughter that money has no gender. A lot of women today, whenever you're taking a woman on a date, she's expecting for you to pay for everything. And what if at the end of the day, she's not interested? The men often will feel like they are being used. So I would recommend, me personally, we already know because we talked about it in a podcast episode before, like who should pay on a date. And I say it's the person, whoever idea it was to go on a date to begin with. A lot of people, and I think a lot of people agree with me. One of them is 50 Cent, right? If you saying that we should go on a date, then I'm expecting for you to pay. Same thing, right? So the reason why you should tell your daughter that money has no gender is because you want her one day to be able to have her own, to not, I wouldn't say not to be dependent, but at least to bring something to the table other than what she has in her skirt, right? Because a lot of women think that, oh, what do you bring to the table? My energy. Last time I checked, energy don't pay the bills, right? Money pays bills. Last time I checked, oh, I can understand you say you will be a good wife, which is required if you are trying to be a wife in the first place, right? It's like saying that I'm a mechanic and I have no idea about a car. No, I should be able to tell you like, oh, this part, that part. So same thing. If you want to be a wife, you should be prepared to be one. You should come with qualified. The Bible doesn't say he will meet a girlfriend, it says he will meet a wife. So you have to be a wife from the get-go before you meet a husband, right? Not a girlfriend, not a side chick, not a bad bitch, not a slay queen, none of that. That is not what we mean by wife. A wife is a wife. And when you see a wife instead of a girlfriend and things like that, you must already be practicing wife duty. Everybody knows when you see one, you recognize it, real recognize real. So you already have to be a wife. And but because you will have learned that money has no gender, is the money is in the pocket of whoever tries to find it. Right? If you try to find it, you will find it, whether you're a man or a woman. I would just say, as a woman, don't make all your life depend on money because at some point you will be alone and you will feel like you are unfulfilled. But you need to have a little bit of something to you. There used to be a rule about not dating anyone without 50K in their bank account, right? But anyway, that is a different story. So you should tell your daughter that money has no gender. She can make money by the way any man can make money, right? You make money, I make money, we come together, we are the shit. It's kind of like two bad chick, be like two bad chick. We come together to be the shit. Anyway, let's go ahead. You should tell her to step in the field. You guys know what I mean. Step in the field instead of and not in bed or not to the bed to make money. Step in the field, get a job out there to make money because the money that you always try to earn with like sex and things like that only lead to disease and STDs, right? And obviously, you will lose your dignity. That is one thing we should know, right? Money that is not well earned, you always for the most part, end up losing something, right? So you should also let your daughter know that she needs to trade her brand and not her private to make money. Tell your daughter that. you can trade your brain. You are smart. You are intelligent. Give her those words of affirmation so that she knows that she doesn't necessarily need to always use her private to get money. Because one thing that she got for free just because she was born is her private. But what is something that she earned? She didn't earn her vagina, but she earned she's going to earn her living, you know? And the more we can teach our daughter that, hey, you can work hard for what you want, then just maybe you might keep her out of the pole, out of the out of the pole. Yeah, the best job a man can do is keep their daughter away from pole, right? You don't want her to be in the strip club and dancing on the pole and things like that. But anyway, train your daughter that the instrument of making money is under the hat and not under the skirt. You see what I mean? The instrument for making money is under the hat, meaning in her brain rather than in the skirt. You know what I mean? You should also train your daughter that know that, because a lot of people, because they feel like they're in love, lose their faith in God and things like that. I don't, you should try to marry somebody who also kind of have that same type of a belief system like you, right? If you believe in God, you might want to marry someone who also believe in God so that you guys can have harmony in the house. But also don't marry someone that is completely you, yeah, or that is completely your opposite, right? Opposite attract. I get that, but don't marry someone that is so opposite to opponent. There's no chemistry at all. There's nothing tying you guys back together, right? So you should tell your daughter that internet never forget or forgive, right? Whatever she posts today might come back tomorrow to haunt her. So we have to be careful about what we post today. Because have you ever seen those guys that they post? I remember when I was coming out in what was it, 2016 NFL draft, like when we went to the combine and we were going to the draft, and we had a player, I believe he was a left tackle, and he was the best tackle out there, and he ended up going like 10. He was supposed to go number one, but he ended up going at 10 because previously he had posted on Twitter a video about of him smoking a blunt, like, right, and he was smoking weed, and he came back during the draft time to hunt him. There are people that are just looking for those type of things to bring you down, even if you did it in your youth, even if it's not the same year. Whatever you post on the internet stays on the internet, and whenever you are looking toward acquiring any good position, they will come back to hunt you. Tell your daughter that life give back what you give into it. Wickedness will be fully repaid, right? You should tell your daughter that life, of course, will give you back what you put into it. It's like you get out what you put in. Yeah, that is one commercial I used to like a lot about meat, right? You get out what you put in. Anyway, let's go ahead and also say this. You should let your daughter know that the best friend she can keep is God, and it's not another girl, right? Because I know that we want to be good friends with people and things like that is good, but know that you have to choose your friends wisely, because a lot of those so-on called friends are going to be the same ones selling you. Right, a lot of people you are willing to protect because you think they have your side are going to be the same people that will be the reason for, or who will be the reason for your downfall. You have to know it. You have to know who you pick as friend. Let your daughter know this. You have to let her know that married men do not love her. A lot of women think that, oh, he's married, he told me he's going to leave his wife and blah blah blah, all that nonsense. Yeah, so if he's still married and he's coming on to you and he's not even in the middle of a divorce or anything like that, what makes you really think that he's going to leave his wife? You think that the speech he's giving you is the same one he's giving to his wife? To his wife, she's the world, because that is what he also making her believe. And to you, you are also his word, because that's what you are willing to listen to, right? So it's not always a good idea to go out there and date someone who's already married, right? Unless, because I'm from Africa, unless you are planning on becoming his second wife, then yes, that is understandable because I come from a polygamy system myself, right? Where men are accustomed to having multiple wives. Yes, of course, they have to have the means to take care of those wives. If they do, then they can go ahead and take as many as they can. In Muslim world back home, they take up to four. But in other culture, like my tribe, they can take even to 100 as long as they have the means, right? So just let her know that staying with a married man, hoping that he's going to leave his wife, that is not a good idea. But if she's staying there because she said, "Oh, I would rather have a man that has two wives," then good. Hey, who am I to judge, man? Some people like that thing, and polygamy. Most men, anyway, when you go by statistics, they dream of having many wives anyway. So teach your daughter to never think that that wealth is sexually transmitted. Yeah, right. You should anyway. We already touched on that. You should let your wife know that wealth is not sexually transmitted. Sleeping with wealthy men will only make her a whore, not a wealthy. You know what I mean? Yeah, because a lot of people think that because you are sleeping with a rich man, he's going to take care of you. Rich men have their own priority, and you are not one of them because their main priority is in the process of making money. You just happen to be something on the road that is going to distract him away from stress that he's having from making his money, not your money, his money, right? So you should also uh, teach your daughter never to be a run girl because run girls normally run into trouble. You guys get that, right? I hope you guys get that. But anyway, you should also teach your daughter that time goes fast. Uh, One thing that usually happen is you meet a woman somewhere, she's already maybe in her, I don't know, early, maybe late 30s, early 40s, something like that. And she said, "Oh, you guys are talking." And she said, for example, "Oh, I'm looking to settle down." You are like, "Well, uh settle down can happen at any point of time, but I don't really think that this bar or this strip club where you meet a woman is the appropriate place to meet a man that is willing to settle down and they tell you, yeah, or either that or nothing." You're like, "Yo, sure." Because one thing we must teach women, right? Yesterday price is not today price, right? Today price is going to be a lot lower than yesterday price. Yesterday price, you had a value. You were young. Some people like to say your vagina wall were still very strong. You were fresh. You were a good flower to have. But once you starting to turn in like you're late 30, 40, now we're getting in the bargain system. You are trying to negotiate now. So you can no longer set the same high value that you think you are worth. You no longer describe your worth. The market says what your worth is, right? Not you. You don't decide what you are worth. The market set the value of whatever product you are trying to sell. You can decide that you want to sell something for $1 million. But if the market says this product is not worth $1 million, it's only worth about $20, that is what it's worth. And that is what people will be willing to pay for it. Why am I giving that analogy? Because a lot of women waste their youth, right? You waste trying to be with rich men that are going to use you instead of taking somebody that you guys are maybe on the same level and building something together. I'm not saying that it's 100% bulletproof, but most of the time those work. We have our parents as proof of that, right? They were not wealthy, but they came together, they decided to work together, and people like us are able to live, right? You also have people that they think that, "Oh, I have time, I have time, I have time," until they run out of time, right? So you have to be careful with the way you decide to go ahead and use your life, especially as a woman, because men get married a little bit older because obviously we know the stress of being a man and marrying a woman. There's the expenses that comes along with it and things like that. Because you are the fighter, you are the provider, you can get afford to get married a little bit later, and God beautifully put it, right? Because a man, even at 100-year old, can still procreate, which a woman cannot, right? So we have to be careful with that. Use your time wisely, especially if you are a woman. Make sure you really, really use your time wisely. Now, we also say, tell your daughter nobody wants to marry a liability. Every man is looking to is looking for his helper, right? Not a help it, but a help meet. You know what I mean? A help meet or help me, not a help eat, right? So that is why I was saying that you guys should come together and be the shit, right? You don't necessarily have to go for the richest man of the world. If a man is already showing you his ability to fight hard, to fight and take care of his family, his ability to work hard and protect you. You can tell when a man is already is starting or is responsible early on, right? You don't need a lot. A man that goes with you and is saying like, oh, we should invest in this, we should put this in that, we should like you can tell a little bit a man that wants to prepare something for his future or for his family future. When you don't have that and you still have and you're living on hope instead of facts, then you are going to be in trouble. So before you go ahead and decide that I want to marry this person or that person, know this. You yourself, you must be worth it first. And at the same time, don't tell us that you are worth it. Let the other person define you. Let the other person says you are worth it. Because if you say you are worth it, I have never seen a product giving its value to itself. The market, again, decide whatever value that product is worth. So if you want a good man, make sure you are already a wife before he meets you. Know that you should not, that your body, using your body to make money is a no-no. Know that internet doesn't forgive, right? Because whenever whatever you post on the internet today thinking will not come back, it always come back around to bite you. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, that was Cultural Awareness Podcast, man. And thank you again for listening to Let's Talk, listening to Cultural Awareness. And please go ahead, like, share, subscribe. And as usual, you already know, God bless. Peace.